Charlie, thanks so much for joining us today, man. We are super excited to chat with you for a couple reasons. First off, we want to hear the story about how you went from being an online e-com guy, like most of the people that are watching this, to the largest private label supplement manufacturer in the contiguous and outside the U.S. for America.
Thanks, yeah.
Man, so thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. So what's your story? How did you start, and what's the ladder steps to move up to where you are now?
Well, I originally started as a personal trainer when I was young, liked to work out, stuff like that, and but personal training really doesn't do much. You know, you just visit with one person at a time and help one person at a time, and I really wanted to grow from that, and so after that, worked at GNC for just a little while, you know, learning the supplements, different things like that.
And that's early 2000s.
Yeah, GNC was 2004. I was there about a year. After that, started a little kiosk in a mall. Just my first go around with business. And little kiosk in the mall, probably about 8 months. And you know, just waiting for people to walk by wasn't really my thing. Back then, eBay was coming on strong. I guess that was 2005, 2006. eBay was coming on strong, and so I really liked that type of the industry, and kind of circled back once the online thing did better, was doing better, and there was more options to build websites and to build stores. Yeah, circled back around 2009 and started 2009 with an online store.
Was Tim Ferriss a influence at all in that?
Tim Ferriss, I don't think his book even came out in 2009. I think it was a couple of years later, really. But yeah, started the online store and just started doing just your basic, Facebook was just launching advertising.
So you were starting on Facebook ads back then?
Oh yeah, 7 cents a click, 9 cents a click.
Wow.
It was epic. You could really go after, I mean, really your competition. You could put ads right on their fan pages. 7 cents, 9 cents a click. It was awesome. And so yeah, we're Google pay-per-click, some SEO stuff, and some, you know, Facebook ads right when they started, and it blew up. It grew really, really rapidly. The one thing that I ran into very, very quickly was there wasn't any good suppliers. You know, if you're going to a contract manufacturer, maybe 5 weeks to get a turnaround time. But in 5 weeks, if your business doubles, you really don't know what what you're going to need in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. You know, sometimes contract manufacturers can be up as far as 10 weeks.
Wow.
And so, you know, we reached out to other private label companies, and you know, would quickly find out that, you know, they say a 2-week turnaround time, it could be 4. They say they have the product, you'd place a PO, they wouldn't have it. You'd reach out to them and it'd be 4 days before they'd get back to you. And it was just really hard to build a business, you know, that paid for me and my family off of other people's, I guess, kind of lies. Yeah. They do have product, they don't have product. They will get back to me, they don't. Stuff like that. And so that's kind of how I got started, and eventually, after a couple of probably about a year, started distributing for other people. It was my brand at the time, so we had over the time of business, probably 500-600 distributors sign up throughout the world that would sell our brand, and we would drop ship the product for them so they could help them grow their business while growing mine at the same time.
So were you encapsulating in your house, or you were still using contract
No,
manufacturers?
at the time, yeah, I mean, right at first we were using private label suppliers. Quickly that didn't work, and so we just became we bought our own labeling equipment, printing equipment and labeling equipment, and became a FDA registered relabeling facility. Okay. And followed the guidelines for that. That was in my house. And you know, 2010 we did like 400,000 revenue. Next year we did like 900,000 revenue. You know, good profit numbers for what we were doing at the time. And you know, from there we decided, you know, people started coming to us and saying, you know what, it's really, really hard to compete with with everybody, when you offer a 60 count white bottle white lid and everybody else offers one, you know, if we could have a 90 count, that'd be really cool. And so I started thinking, you know, right now we're labeling the product. The only thing the difference is if I get a facility, build it out to actually have a bottling room, we can bottle our own product. And we can buy from our contract manufacturers we're currently buying from. Instead of buying it in bottled product, we'll buy it in bulk. And when we buy in bulk, we can bottle into a 30, 60, 90, 120, 180 count bottle. It can be a white bottle. It can be a big bottle. It can be a small bottle. It can be blue. It can be a blue bottle with a black lid or a white lid. We can do white bottles with a pink lid and have a female line. And right around the same time, there's a couple other private label companies that were big. They were doing really well. They just weren't taking care of people, and they weren't moving in the direction to the consumer what the consumer really needed, and that was to be able to differentiate so they could be one-off and be different from everybody else. Especially when you're talking about things like online. Google has their shopping where you can get onto that, and if everybody looks identical, it's really hard to stand out. But if you can differentiate, say, if a black bottle with a white lid or whatever it may be, it looks different. It adds a uniqueness that can potentially help your brand and grow your brand.
So when we talk with entrepreneurs who have done similar things, there seems to be two schools. One is kind of, let's put the plane together as we're taking off.
Yeah.
And then there's the second group, which sits down and plans things out for a year, super methodical. And once they know they have a system that works on paper, then they move forward and they do that. What class do you fall into?
I would have to say we built the plane as we moved forward. The customers, what I learned when I was doing retail and online marketing is I learned that we didn't have a good foundation to build on. There was nobody out there, and so we moved in that direction. And then as customers came to me and said, this would be really cool if someone could do this, and I found there was a problem and I found the solution. And I would find the solutions as I go. They say to just always be flexible and, be able to, you don't want to give the customer everything they want because sometimes they may not know what they're doing, or it may not be profitable for you or for them. But we would sit down and I'd look at it from both angles, the manufacturing angle or supplier angle and the marketing angle. And so we would come up with, because I had both sides of it, I would come up with a good plan, and it's worked really very well over the years.
So in the early days when you first started selling, you went from eBay, and from there you transitioned to your own storefront.
Yeah. I mean, really it was eBay back in 2005, 2006, to a storefront 2009, and using Facebook, Google, SEO.
So did you have a background in advertising at all, or were you kind of Googling
not at all.
advertise on Facebook?
Bootstrapping all along the way, learning as things go, because to be honest, in marketing, you can try to learn about it, but in 6 months it's going to be different anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
So when did you pull your own personal storefront and say, I'm going to focus and become, did you have the intention of being what you are now when you jumped into it, or did that slowly realize over the course?
No, I think I slowly realized over the course. I mean, for the first couple of years, I was just trying to pay my bills. And, I was willing to work 12, 14 hours a day to make sure that my bills were not only paid, but, I could grow the company at the same time, roll the profits back in. A couple of years later, probably 2011, is when I changed from my other brand to Vox Nutrition. Vox Nutrition was going to be private label manufacturing. 2012 was when I got to be really, really serious with it. And I started basically shutting down my retail brand and moving into the manufacturing, bottling, printing, labeling.
What caused that for you to get really serious about this? You saw a larger market opportunity as a supplier?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm sitting there, for 2 years I've been supplying other people and helping them build their brand. And while I'm doing that, I'm basically taking what I call my bandwidth, my brain power, and splitting into two things. I'm splitting into marketing, and I'm splitting it into the actual manufacturing and labeling side of it. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to be competing with a lot of people, because a lot of people, I mean, that right then, when you mentioned the Tim Ferriss thing, right about then, 2012 was when Tim Ferriss, for our work week, he pushed, on his his supplement and how he held it back and how he marketed it, and you're starting to get a lot more of the Instagrams and the Snapchats and the Facebook, and people are really digging down. And Amazon came on, huge market. We've got some good friends that really promoted and helped build people up in the Amazon space, and we worked with them. We sold product. I mean, they're kind of the Tim Ferriss of Amazon, and they built up a lot of people. And we're turning 2,000-3,000 trained people every 6 months. I don't really want to compete with that. I'd rather help build them up and build all of those people up so they can be successful. And so 2012, I made the transition from doing retail to manufacturing and private labeling. 2013, we actually started encapsulating our own product. We got our own blending quality team, encapsulators. And then from there, we've built up from 2013 to where we're at now. Encapsulating in-house well over 30 million capsules a month, producing and bottling upwards of 750,000 bottles in-house a month, labeling those up, sending them out to Amazon, to different fulfillment facilities. We have our own fulfillment facility, to other on-demand fulfillment facilities, other private label facilities. We've became kind of the go-to for that because no one else is manufacturing in-house. Very few people are bottling in-house, and I was the first one to do those things.
So when I was talking to you on the phone a few days ago, you said something that struck a chord, and I actually did a little Facebook Live to the group about it. And that was that you said something along the lines of, Tim Ferriss is promoting a 4-hour work week. So for me to help everyone trying to do a 4-hour work week, I have to work a 12-hour work day.
Yeah. I really, I grew up on a farm. I'm wired a lot different than a lot of people, to be honest. And so, when you wake up at 5 a.m. and you go to bed at 9, 10, and you're working till 7, 8 o'clock, you're going to school between, you learn a little bit different work ethic. And that's really what I grew up with, and that's what, is instilled in me. And so I just decided, there's a lot of people that want to simplify their life with being good at one thing. Let me build the foundation that they can stand on. And so by doing that, I work a 12-hour day. I'm up at 4:50 every day in the office before 6 o'clock. I'll actually get my hands dirty. I'll go out and work on the equipment, designing the actual manufacturing area, designing the AC area, the ventilation system, the air compression system. I'm the one that designs all that stuff and do it. So yeah, I do. I'll work a 12-hour work day so other people don't have to. And in that, what we've learned is our customers want us to have the product available. A lot of time design the labels, print the labels, label the product. Give them a solution so they can stand out, whether it be a white bottle with a pink lid or a black bottle with a white lid or a black bottle with a red lid. And then beyond that, we've had lots of customers come to us and say, it's going to take too long to get to our fulfillment facility. It would be really nice if we could just fulfill our products in the same place instead of shipping halfway across the country just to have them do what you can probably do. And so I guess 3 years ago we started our own fulfillment facility to where a lot of the people on Amazon don't really use that, but they'll use it as an insurance. Meaning, if they run out of product in Amazon, they can change it to fulfillment by customer or by merchant, and then they'll start sending over through our API system into our fulfillment, and we'll fulfill the product for them. Makes it much quicker. They won't lose ranking. A lot of your affiliate marketers are using shipping and fulfillment, kitting, and so we have a company that does all of that in-house.
So when you jump into these new industries that you don't have prior experience in, like 3PL for these people, what's your process to quickly get up to speed so that you don't go through the 2-year learning curve, or even the 6 months like you spoke about earlier? Yeah,
so with that, what I do, again, we talk about bandwidth, how much brain power we have. I always like to focus on what I'm good at, and I understand an industry and I understand where there's a need, but I may not want to learn an entire industry of maybe fulfillment or kitting. And so I partner with somebody. I find somebody that's hungry, somebody that wants to own a business and run a business, and someone that's willing to work 12 hours a day. And I'll partner with them, and they'll become, a majority owner, or they have a large ownership of that. And then send them off for the training, send them to do all of the, interviews, to go and meet with the 3PLs, to meet with the IntegraCores, the companies that have 280,000 square feet, shipping 75,000 packages a day. Learn what they do, learn what software they use. And that's how we kind of bring it up to speed. There's still going to be your 6-month learning curve, or your year learning curve, 2-year learning curve. You're learning all along the way. But that's how I've learned to do those things, and to be successful with launching multiple companies.
So this concept that achieving a high level of success requires a certain amount of luck. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if you stay at something long enough, you're bound to see an opportunity. Mm-hmm. Typically, the Steve Jobs and the Elon Musk, all of those guys, man, they got really lucky. $billion companies. But, now with, once you actually learn about, Steve Jobs, you read his book, you learn that he was in it a long time before. I mean, he was looking up other people in the phone book so he could make a sequence counter or whatever it may have been. And he ended up getting a job and learning that industry from being in it. I mean, really way before his time, 14 years old, 15 years old. So, I spent my years in it, and, that's probably what helped me be lucky. Listen to your customers. What do your customers want? You can create an industry. I know that marketers can create an industry. I mean, for goodness sakes, Dr. Oz goes and talks about a product 4 or 5 years ago and has very little impact. Really what it comes down to. He had little impact. This show is not viewed by that many people. But then the marketers go out and put it on every Facebook, every Instagram, every Google, everything. I mean, they put it on every platform, and they made that product the biggest product that it could have been. I mean, Garcinia Cambogia, 5, 6, 7 years running. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. You don't have that without great marketers pushing a product, and a great product that actually can be there too. So
as marketers, because you were a marketer, and to a certain extent you still are for your own companies.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So marketing as a discipline, what are your thoughts regarding, we believe that marketers are the ones that really make, whether it's software code or the guys behind the curtains, the marketers are the ones that push it forward. So your relationship with marketers, what do you see over the next 4, 5, 6 years with marketers and supplements and any other industry?
You take in the industry trend of brick and mortar versus online marketing. 3 winters ago, we finally seen the tipping point of over 50% of Christmas shopping done online. Okay, well, now that makes the opportunity come in for really marketers. I mean, people who can find where to get the product and how to ship the product. And all that they need to do now is get out in front of people. It can be one marketer working out of his basement or his home office, selling millions of dollars worth of stuff a year. I did it. I worked out of my own house, and I think most we did was $1.8 million in revenue out of our own house. That was shipping from our house. Mm-hmm. We could have done a whole lot more if we had actual shipping facilities to do the work for us. And so, it's moving. It's moving online. The Amazon is crushing the Sears. They're crushing, Walmart is stagnant in their revenue and their worth, but Amazon is, grown 5 times over in the last 5, 6, 7 years. So it's going online. Everything's going online. The market share will go online, and the market is not getting smaller. It's getting larger itself. And so it just gives opportunity for those people who come in, who create code, who create websites, who create the marketing traffic, the flow, it's just an awesome opportunity for people to get into it.
One of the cool things that I think is a sign in that direction is that for the first time, an affiliate marketer has become the richest man on the planet, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
He's an affiliate
no
marketer.
No doubt.
And so that, as a roadmap, shows the opportunity that marketing is. So a lot of people start with some sort of physical product, and they either go over to like an info or a digital product because then there's no real product cost, easy to fulfill,
right.
Or they're like, I need to get into consumables because someone buys it from me once, they never buy it again.
Yeah.
And so they move into supplements.
Yeah.
So, but you started. Did you identify that the consumable concept was what you wanted, or did you happen to stumble upon it?
No, I mean, I worked out. I lifted weights. I was a personal trainer. I realized that, working at GNC, they had a gold member card, and every month people came in the first week and they bought tons of stuff. A lot of times it's the same stuff. It's the same, weight loss energy pill. It's the same. I mean, there wasn't very much focus products, but it's the same focus product. It's the same this. It's the same that. And so I didn't think it through, really. But I really I got lucky. I was in the right industry, really. But I don't really want to sell, curling irons, because people don't buy that many of them. Really, they don't buy them every month. It's not something you can put on a subscription. But a supplement, it's small, it's easy to pack, it's got great margin, it's got, and it's every month. Yeah. You can put people on a subscription, or people can come back to you. You can send an email and give them 15% off, and they'll buy again. You're just not going to get that with your TV. I'm going to probably in my lifetime buy, even on the larger network, larger scale, I may buy 50 TVs, but I can't tell you how many bottles of nutrition products I've already bought in my life. So,
a lot of people wish that they had done this or that, and they wish currently. Fewer people talk about it, but the ones that achieve whatever it is that they wish they did, they're the ones that consistently, daily, with insane persistence, do the same small things over and over and over that eventually compound into something that they can be proud of. So what's your routine, and what are those small things that just do or die you will do every single day, and you attribute a lot of what you have to those small actions that occur daily?
Every day I come in and I know what's happening in the company. From sales numbers to inventory numbers to forecasting. I check in weekly, bi-weekly with my sales team to find out what people are asking for. Again, the marketers really make the industry. And so when they come to me and ask for an ashwagandha over and over and over, guess what? I give them an ashwagandha. They're going to get what they ask for. So, and there's been, strategic things that I may not do every day, but I do over and over with every product that we launch. And we have, a way that we launch a product every time. We found the way that it really works, and we do the same type of launch every time. We reach out to our VIP customers first. We let them, because, they're really the foundation for our company, and so we give them the first opportunity, and then we move through the rest of that process. The last thing being a blast email and really marketing it to 18,000, 20,000 people that have been in contact with us over the last 5-6 years.
Interesting. So when you wake up at 4:30 every day, what does the next 15 hours look like?
Wake up, I take a shower in the dark. I pick my clothes out in the dark.
Just because your family's asleep, or
my family's asleep.
You've got some, okay.
Family's asleep, and
maybe there was some
moment
of zen or something.
No, and it is. Try not worrying about what you're going to wear.
Yeah.
You pick out, my socks, my shoes, my jeans, and my shirts are all in order in cabinets. I literally just open them up and pull them out. I don't care what comes out. The little amount of light that comes through, I can tell whether it's a black shirt or a white shirt, but I can't tell whether it's a blue shirt or a black shirt.
Yeah.
And so I get up, I get ready. To be honest, I get ready with zero lights on, have a little bit of breakfast, come to work. Majority of the time I'll go through and I'll basically skim through everything. I skim through production of capsules, bottles, checking inventory, seeing what came in the previous day for raw ingredients.
Like raw products.
Raw products, yeah. I mean, we're receiving not truckloads, but pallets and pallets of products of different raw ingredients that are going to go into making these products. Our Neuro formula has 49 ingredients. We need to make sure that every single one of those ingredients are here, that it's been tested, that we have C of A's received back to make sure that it's within spec before that product actually goes in to get encapsulated. And so I check in on each one of those things. Then a lot of times right after that, about 6:15, 6:30, I've been at work for about 45 minutes at that time. I've got a good vision of what the previous day was like and what we need to do today. I'll actually go up and hit the gym. We have a gym inside our facility. I'll go up and hit the gym and I'll think through what we need to be doing. And, hitting the gym makes me physically strong, but really it makes me emotionally stronger. And owning a business can be brutal. We may, not be able to get a product or have a customer get upset with us. And so, we have to be able to take that. Instead of get emotional back, we need to be able to go and say, okay, well, what do we need to do to correct this, to make it better, to improve ourselves? And I believe in physically improving yourself and getting the blood flow and getting that energy built up from working out. And then I go back and we'll, knock out the rest of the day. And you never know what you're going to get. But I can say this, if you wake up every morning excited to find what you're going to have to overcome and what's going to teach you the next lesson in life, you'll be much more excited about being an entrepreneur than say, this is what's supposed to happen every day, because I can guarantee in owning a business, it's not going to happen exactly the way you want it every day. And your day is going to get turned upside down pretty much always. And so that's my day. I get ready, I come to work, I really figure out the scale of what's going on before a lot of people are there to ask me questions. Then I go and exercise. Doesn't happen as much as I like, maybe 3-4 days a week, sometimes 5. Then I come back and I'm there. I mean, everyone at that time is in office. All of the manufacturing is there, the accountant's there, everybody's there. And so they're going to be coming and asking questions and getting guidance. Go through the day, and then at the end of the day, a lot of times people are leaving 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30. And then I get the last hour with very few people to go through and summarize what we did for the day and what we're going to do tomorrow. And so then leave, go home, and try to get home at 6 o'clock every day to spend time with the family.
Have you had moments over the last, 12 years? You started in 2005?
Yeah, 2005 originally, yep.
So have you had moments over the last 12 years where the business has beat you down to your knees?
Yeah. There's one point, and I think 2.5 years ago, maybe, 2.5 years ago, that I was doing everything. I would come in on Saturday and actually assemble the bottling lines. I would actually bring one person that I would trust, who would be willing to work 12 hours a day, bring them in, and I would actually run product to set the pace of what I knew that the bottling line could do. If something broke, I would be the one that stayed late to fix it. And we had bought new shrink banders that, maybe 3 months old. They worked really well. And all of a sudden, one shrink bander is broken completely. The other shrink bander is not working correctly. And, I've got hundreds of people that are selling our product that are expecting it to be out in a 7 business day or less. And all of a sudden, we've got 70, 80, 90,000, 100,000, 120,000 bottles in our bottling job, and we can't put a shrink band on it. And the FDA says that's perfectly fine as long as you have one form of protection. But Amazon does not.
Oh.
Amazon says, that looks like it's open to me. I will destroy it. So you can't send one bottle out to Amazon like that. And so I remember sitting there, taking it apart, putting it together, checking the pneumatics, checking all of this stuff. I'm not technically trained on this. I just have common sense over the years of being around it. And it hit me. I've probably been to work. I think at that time I was coming to work about 5 o'clock. I was about 8:15, and I knew that I needed to be home. You know, I've got a new little daughter that I think it was probably about 5 months old at the time. And, you know, there was more of a reason other than just a wife, but there's more of a reason to get home. And I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. And I literally mentally just broke down in the middle of our bottling room, which I think there's going to be clips of that. Broke down and was laying on the ground, just sobbing. It was so hard. And I just realized that I can't do it all on my own. I can't support hundreds of customers on my own. I need really, really good people. And at that time, I actually left. And I'd hired a production manager with 25 years experience. Hired these people, but they're going home to their families way before I would go home.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I've got you guys hired. I'm paying you guys to run this place. But for some reason, I'm the one that's holding it together when it's said and done. And I said, I'm leaving. I'm not coming back until I feel confident that you guys can run this place by yourself. And so I actually left, and it was really nice. It's not that I wasn't working. I just stayed at home and then looked over everything. I did things that I really needed to do for, you know, a month, 2 months at a time, going visiting vendors, picking up products, you know, spending time to formulate new products. And I just stayed away. And I told him I wasn't going to be there, and I told him I didn't know how long. We ended up having an interview with someone that I wanted to be at the interview. It wasn't in our facility about 2 o'clock. So I guess I stayed away from 5 in the morning to 2 o'clock. Showed up to the interview right when I really should have been there. Had the interview, and then I came in, shut my doors, and I said, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to be here to work. And I worked, and that was a turning point. It was really, I need to unload and be able to unload. And the problem is I know that I can fix a problem in an hour, and it may take someone else 2 hours. The problem is I've got to sacrifice that hour to do it. And I really just shouldn't be. I should be formulating new products. I should be visiting with customers to finding what the next product, what they're seeing in the industry, what their trends are. I need to be visiting with those people. I don't need to be fixing air compressors. You know, I can hire people for that.
Yeah.
And so I just learned to trust myself and to do those things. And, you know, since then we've grown probably 300% in the last 2.5 years. It's still not easy. I still want to go out and fix things. But I've got to, you know, shut off my computer, walk out the door and lock it, and, you know that someone's going to be there that I've hired to do the job.
I hear you 100%. This mindfulness trend is like this thing that's popped up, and you've got, you know, these CEOs who are either, you know, achieving nirvana every day to deal with it, or they're kiteboarding. They're doing something that gets them away. So outside of working out, do you have, when you hit those moments where all of a sudden just everything is falling apart, you're gonna lose, you potentially could lose your biggest clients to keep you in business, like those moments, like what you were just talking about, having gone through that, what do you do now, or would you do if you approach that again to get your own self under control so that you can then lead properly?
Well, I'm programmed a little different than a lot of people. I like to work. Sometimes I just don't like to work with people. So at that time, I'll just lock my door and just say, just leave me alone, let me work. Because there may be a list of things that are 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks old that I just haven't gotten to. Or people that I just haven't gotten back to. And some of the time that's just what I do. I just step back, lock my door, and I just sit down and I work. And I just make a list and I just go through it. Because sometimes at the end of the day, when you actually achieve you make a list, you have a goal to get through it, and you actually finally are able to achieve it, it makes you feel better. I think my biggest thing is Elon Musk, when he was in a date with his first or his second wife, he said, I just wish that I didn't have to stop to eat. I wish that I could just get my nutrition another way. And we're humans, we can't. I mean, it would be really weird if we did just, you know, have a bag that we just squeezed in. So that's my biggest thing. So a lot of times I have to stop. First things first. when I'm getting mentally drugged to the dirt, I have to stop, make sure that I go eat, get some water, and then I just shut my door and make sure that I actually complete a meal, because there's times that I definitely don't, get a good meal in. I mean, I'll eat a little here, a little there, just enough to basically make it so I'm not sick. And that will give me a lot of the energy and that I need to get through the day, to get through that checklist. And then, sometimes when you put it all on the line and it's just painful, mentally painful, physically painful, you hit almost a euphoria. Go run a mile. They talk about the bear getting on your back where you just want to give up. If you actually work through it, your body releases a euphoria. You get through your list of stuff, your body will release a euphoria, and you'll drive home beaten, but you'll feel good about it. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in potentially learning more about your company, potentially even asking you questions. Where can you be found? Do you have a Facebook page that they can view your company?
Yeah, the company, voxnutrition.com. That's our main company. That's where we do our design, labeling, manufacturing. Then we have shipcentral.com for fulfillment, on-demand fulfillment, which is where we're going to have about 129 products that are be on demand, where you have zero inventory, that you can literally just link into what Vox Nutrition's inventory really is. We keep about $4 million in inventory to make sure that people are stocked up.
Covered, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've got people that at times will, be a brand new person. They'll buy 5,000 bottles, but 3 months later they're moving 50,000 bottles. You wouldn't be able to do that without having a huge inventory and a quick turnaround time. So that's it. I mean, really, you can contact us. You can call Vox. I may not be the easiest guy to get a hold of because I'm really trying to hold down multiple companies and take care of every customer. But yeah, I mean, I do have a Facebook page. Don't have very many people on it, and I don't go on there very often. I find that one of the easiest things in life is to be distracted. And so I try not to be distracted. And so as I've gotten older and I've have more businesses and more customers and really a larger need of my time with family and customers and business, that I stay away from that stuff a little more. But
So let's close with you talking about this concept, because most of these people watching are marketers. And so the idea of scaling ginormously is very attractive.
yeah.
But offline we talked about the need to methodically scale. So let's close with that, with your philosophy on that and how you're implementing that within your businesses.
Yeah. As long as you've got a good foundation, you can build a big building, right? I mean, a lot of buildings, they say you almost have to go down as far as you have to go up. And so if you've got a great foundation, if you're working off of maybe other people's traffic or other people's inventory or other people's shipping capacity, you can scale through the roof. But I know with my company it's not that easy. $4 million in inventory. Well, every dollar you put into inventory, you have to pay 50 cents in tax because it came from profit. And so you can't just scale $1 million in inventory overnight because Uncle Sam wants his.
Yeah.
And so, we build more methodical. We will market based on what our capacity is. And so you can't just go from making 5 million capsules a month to 30 million capsules a month. It's not that easy. You have to scale, on my side, you have to scale using FDA regulations, quality, testing, C of A's, all of the different things. And so, I've just learned that, a lot of companies can go out and get financing. I've grown a company over the last really 9 years that this company's been in business, that I need to make $1 in profit to roll $1 back into the business, to grow the business, to be able to support my customers. And so sometimes it's not a good fit. Customers will come and need either too high of a volume at too low of a margin. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense for me. And me and my sales team will try to be as honest as we can. It's not a good fit. Other times we really, we try to help everybody. As we've grown to be one of the largest, if not the largest, private label manufacturer for sports supplements, as we've grown to do that, my sales team comes to me often and says, let's up our minimums. We're spending time selling people 50 bottles at a time. And I say, you know what? If I could go back to it, I would lower my minimums to 18 bottles, because that's what I started with. And I want to be able to help every person that's like me down the line. And I didn't have a ton of money to invest into it when I started. I invested $1,100 of my own money, and I've had zero extra cash come in other than what the company has made since then. And so I want to be able to, I relate to those people, and I want to be able to do that. And so that was actually where we came up with the on-demand. You don't have to have any. There's no minimum order quantity. Yeah, there's a subscription, and we have to integrate you. But other than that, there's no risk to those types of people. And so we've actually tried to open it up to where anybody can buy. You sell 1 unit a month, great, we're here for you. You sell 50,000 units a month, we're here for you. And so that's where we are, and we've tried to be able to help people from, one spectrum to the complete other. As far as the online marketers, you guys today have completely surpassed what I've ever been able to do. We've got customers who are working multiple platforms and moving, one product, 50, 60, 70,000 units, which is just incredible. And so all that we're trying to do is just keep adding to that foundation, making our foundation stronger, reinforcing it to where we can handle not one of those, but 10 of those people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely.